All right, buckle up, because today we're diving into Liane Moriarty's Here One Moment.
Oh, good one.
It's a thriller, it's fiction, and it promises a whole lot of suspense, as Moriarty usually delivers. Taking those everyday anxieties we all have and cranking them up a notch.
Speaking of anxieties, this book was actually sent in by one of our amazing listeners, so thank you, listener, for sending this our way.
Yeah, thank you. They're ready to unpack all the secrets, and we're here to help them do just that. And let's be real, when it comes to digging into those complex characters and their motivations, Moriarty is in a league of her own.
Absolutely. She has such a knack for it. She takes these relatable fears, those what-ifs that keep us up
Yeah.
at night, and she puts them under a microscope.
It's like she takes those whispers of doubt and turns them into a roar.
Exactly. And in here, one moment, that all starts with Cherry Lockwood. She's our catalyst, the one who sets everything in motion.
Yeah, she's introduced to us right away, on a plane no less, and she drops these predictions that really shake things up for everyone around her.
It's classic Moriarty, that domino effect where one seemingly small event just ripples outward.
Totally. But here's the thing about Cherry. She's not some mysterious fortune teller or anything. In fact, we learn pretty quickly that she's an actuary.
Which is such an interesting juxtaposition. Here's someone who spends her days analyzing risk and probability.
You'd think she'd be the last person to make these kinds of predictions.
Right. It's almost ironic. But that contradiction is key to understanding Cherry. It makes you wonder, what's going on beneath the surface? What would make someone who understands the odds so well risk it all like that?
And Moriarty slowly reveals those layers to us. We get these glimpses into Cherry's past, and we see that she's dealing with some heavy stuff. The loss of her father, a difficult marriage.
It makes you realize that her actions on that flight aren't happening in a vacuum. They're informed by her past experiences, her anxieties, her own unique way of seeing the world.
It's like she's trying to make sense of it all, maybe even find a way to regain a sense of control in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable.
Absolutely. And one of the things I love about Moriarty is how she uses these small details to reveal so much about her characters. Like, remember that part about Cherry's love for Monte Carlo biscuits?
Oh, yeah. And how she connects them to statistical independence. It's a seemingly insignificant detail.
Exactly. But it speaks volumes about how her mind works, how she sees those connections, even in everyday things. It's brilliant.
It reminds us that there's always more to people than meets the eye. These little quirks, these seemingly insignificant details, they all add up to something much bigger.
Right. And it's not just Cherry we're dealing with in this book. We have this whole cast of characters all on that flight with her, all about to get caught up in the whirlwind of her predictions.
And each of them brings their own set of anxieties, their own baggage to the table.
Which, of course, Moriarty uses to maximum effect.
Of course, it wouldn't be a Liane Moriarty novel without it. It's like she created this pressure cooker of human interaction and then tossed in a grenade of uncertainty.
A perfect analogy. And this is where Moriarty really shines. She uses this technique of multiple perspectives to heighten the suspense even more. We get to experience the fallout of Cherry's predictions from all these different angles.
It's kind of like that movie Love Actually, right? Where we're bouncing around between all these different characters and storylines, seeing how they intersect.
Except instead of holiday romance, we have existential dread.
Exactly. But, it's through those collisions, those moments where lives and expectations clash, that Moriarty explores these universal themes that really resonate with us. Like, take the whole idea of fate versus free will.
Oh, absolutely. Cherry's predictions force everyone around her to confront that very question. Are we in control of our own destinies, or is it all just a roll of the dice?
It's a question we've all grappled with at some point, right? And I love how she digs into that through Eve and Dom, the honeymooners. I mean, they're already dealing with all the typical newlywed jitters, and then Cherry drops this bombshell on them.
Talk about throwing a wrench in the honeymoon phase.
Right. Suddenly they're questioning everything, their relationship, their future, their sanity.
It really highlights how powerful words can be, even when they're delivered with good intentions. Those predictions take root in their minds and start to shape their reality.
It's so true and so relatable. I mean, think about how often we let a passing comment or a stray thought spiral into this big thing in our own lives.
It's like Moriarty took that universal experience and amplified it, showing us the potential consequences of giving those anxieties too much power over us.
And we can't forget about Paula, the mom who's already dealing with some serious anxiety. Imagine being in her shoes, trying to manage those everyday worries, and then you get seated next to Cherry on a flight.
Talk about adding fuel to the fire.
It's like Moriarty took all of Paula's existing fears, and put them under a microscope. We see the intensity of those feelings, and it's both relatable and terrifying.
And that's where Moriarty really shines. She doesn't shy away from the messy, complicated reality of human emotion. She embraces it, forces us to confront it, and in doing so, she makes us question our own reactions, our own capacity for both resilience and vulnerability.
It really makes you wonder how much of our peace of mind is hanging by a thread. Like one encounter, one conversation, and boom, everything's thrown off balance.
Yeah, and that's something Moriarty explores so well. It's like she throws these curveballs at her characters, but it's in those moments of uncertainty, those what now moments, that we really see their true colors.
Absolutely. It's like, how do they react? How do they cope? And
Yeah.
do they rise to the occasion or crumble under the pressure?
And it's not always pretty. Moriarty doesn't shy away from those darker aspects of human nature, those ways in which our fears and insecurities can lead us down some, let's just say, interesting paths. But that's the beauty of her writing, right?
Totally. She's not afraid to show the good, the bad, and the ugly, which makes it all the more real and relatable.
Exactly. But here's the thing, even amidst the suspense, even when those anxieties are running high, there are these glimmers of hope.
It's true. It's like she's saying, yeah, life is messy and people are flawed, but hey, we're all capable of growth. We can learn from our mistakes.
Exactly. We have that capacity for redemption. Take Cherry, for instance. She could have easily just kept going down this path of denial, but she doesn't. She faces her past, those actions on the flight, and tries to make things right. There's real character development there.
It's like she realizes the weight of her words.
Mhm.
She understands the impact she had on these people, and she wants to use that power responsibly.
Right. And it's not just Cherry. We see that evolution in other characters, too. Like, take Eve and Dom. They've got their issues, their doubts and insecurities, but they have to confront them head on. And you know what? It actually strengthens their bond in the end.
It's like what doesn't break them makes them stronger.
Exactly. And Paula, despite dealing with that intense anxiety, she discovers this inner strength, this fierceness to protect her kids and face her fears. Seeing these characters overcome those hurdles, those flaws and missteps, it's truly inspiring.
It reminds us that even when life throws those curveballs, we get to choose how we respond, how we let those experiences shape us.
Such a powerful message. It's like she's saying, even in the face of uncertainty, even when everything feels chaotic, we still have a choice. We can either let our anxieties control us or use them as opportunities to grow and learn about ourselves.
It's like she's holding up a mirror to those inner struggles we all face, but in a way that's both entertaining and thought-provoking. It's
Right.
like Moriarty's telling us, hey, we're not defined by our fears, but by how we choose to face them. So to our listeners out there, as you delve into Here One Moment, really pay attention to those moments of transformation, those subtle shifts in how the characters see the world. They're like those little golden nuggets hidden throughout the story.
And they serve as these little reminders that even when things seem bleak, there's always room for hope and resilience. And hey, don't forget to savor those small details, those little moments that reveal so much about who these characters are deep inside.
Right, like Cherry finding comfort in those Monte Carlo biscuits, even Dom's brutally honest arguments, or Paula's quiet moments of contemplation. It's those little things that make the story and the characters feel so real, so relatable.
Absolutely. They remind us that we're not alone in those struggles and those moments of doubt and uncertainty. And that's what makes Liane Moriarty such a phenomenal storyteller. She draws you in with that signature suspense, those twists and turns that keep you guessing, but it's the characters and their journeys that really stay with you.
So, to everyone tuning in, we're so excited for you to experience Here One Moment for yourselves. It's one of those stories that stays with you long after you've turned the last page. It'll spark some interesting conversations, make you think about things in a new light, and hey, maybe even help you understand yourself a little bit better along the way.
And when you're done, come find us. Let's chat about it. We always love hearing your thoughts.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure diving deep with you all.